Linda Carabarras, and welcome to my kitchen. And I'm glad you're here with me today because I'm going to show you how to make some appetizers that range from super simple to simple and sophisticated. And if you watched my last program, I showed you how to make fast and easy quesadillas using lavash bread. And because I'm such a big fan of the lavash bread, I figured I'd start off the appetizers today showing you how to make a couple of appetizers and a snack with this lavash bread. So, first one I want to show you how to do is a vegan appetizer. And vegans do not eat any dairy, so this is going to be for you vegans out there. So, I'm going to make this one with red pepper hummus and tabbouleh. And if you don't know what this is, the hummus is ground chickpeas with tahini, which is a ground sesame paste, and some flavorings. And it comes in several different flavors. So I urge you to try this whether you're a vegan or not. Makes a great spread too on sandwiches. Also, the tabbouleh. This is a nice salad that's made with cracked wheat, very good for you. It has tomatoes in it, parsley, and spices. So now I'm going to show you how to make the wrap. And let's see. Let me get my spreader. And by the way, if you don't have one of these, I suggest you pick one up. These are terrific. I know you're used to using the butter knife, but I just got this about a year ago as a gift. Love it. Just works so much better. So what we do is, I've got the red pepper hummus today. Use any kind you want. I take the hummus and I spread it on half of the lavash bread. Again, you don't need to spread it too thick because when you roll these up, you don't want it oozing out all over the place. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to take some tabbouleh. And by the way, I got this recipe from a friend of mine who brought it to a party, and I thought, oh, this just looks great. Let's see, okay. You don't have to spread it quite to the edges because we're going to roll this up. Let's see how much I have on there. Not too thick. Again, that's the key with putting these together. All right, let me put this here. Now I'm going to start from this end and just roll it up. Just like this. Okay. I'm going to place it on my cutting board. I'm going to take some toothpicks and I'd say place them about every inch. And by the way, you can do this ahead of time, at this point before the toothpicks of course, and wrap it in cellophane and then put it in the refrigerator, and it's good for several hours. And then that will really hold it together nicely when you go to cut it. Okay. Here we go. Start from this end. And again, I like to make a nice cut on a diagonal. I just think it looks a little bit better. So right in the middle of the toothpicks, I'm using a serrated knife. Cuts this bread a little bit better. Right in between the toothpicks. Okay. Watch the fingers. There we go. Now I'm going to plate this. And again, I want to show you my nice decorative plate here. And as I mentioned in my last show, I got these at Building 19. And what I love about using plates like this, you don't need any other type of garnish. They look nice. You can put these right on the plate like this. Okay. Let's put it in a circle. Again, just push the toothpick through the bottom so it goes all the way through now, holds it nice and firm. There we go. All right. And there you go. And again, this lavash bread comes in tomato basil or just the flour. And you can even purchase multi-grain wraps of lavash. So let me show you this. Put the lavash here. Now what you need for ingredients is your lavash bread. Spreadable cheese comes in a tub like this. And one of these size tubs, I think this is 8 ounces, will do 4 of these. So roasted red peppers. Now you can either roast your own or you can get them in a jar like this and cut them up. And spring mix or baby arugula. But the key here is when you're making these appetizers, you want a nice soft lettuce. So a baby lettuce mix, spring mix, it's got to be soft or it will tear through the bread. Also, you can use just arugula, which is a spicy green. It's terrific, and it is in this spring mix, the arugula. So it's part of this mix. So again, you can either purchase just the arugula or the spring mix. And the other reason I like the spring mix anyway is because, then you can use the spring mix after for salad, where the arugula, you're going to have to blend it with some other lettuces. So here's all your ingredients, and so I'll show you how to do these simple appetizers. Okay, we'll take some cheese. Again, just like with the quesadillas, you spread it on half. Okay, not too thick, but be generous with it. And again, if you want to use the light spread, that's fine. If you even want to use cream cheese, you can use cream cheese. Any of the spreadable cheeses will work. Okay, see what I'm doing here? So I've spread it on half of the lavash bread. Then I'm just going to lay a few of these greens across. Oh, look, we've got some nice, pretty red lettuces in there. Not too thick. Again, the point with these, just nice thin layer, as you see here. That's about it. That's all you want on the greens. And again, make sure they're nice, soft baby greens. Then we're going to take our pepper. Now, I think there's one brand that you can buy just the roasted red pepper strips. So if you can find those, great. If not, we're just going to take one of these out of the jar. Okay, and what I do is just drain it. Roasted red peppers, and these just give so much flavor to everything. I cook with these also. Pasta dishes, and you just add these into the pasta dish. Delicious. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut them into strips. And again, I can just pull it apart. And you just want to lay a couple of lines of the roasted red peppers. Again, don't overfill these. You don't need to. And you're going to end up cutting them, so you're not making a sandwich, you're just making an appetizer. There we go. And you see what I've done there? All right. That's it. Take the bottom half like this, fold it over your filling. See what I'm doing here? Pull it back a little bit to tighten the lavash around the filling. Then just roll it up tight. That's all you do. There you go. Now, if you're having guests in a few hours, you can just take this roll just the way it is and wrap it up tight with plastic wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and this will be fine for, I'd say, 5, 6 hours. I wouldn't do them the night before because sometimes the red peppers are a little bit wet. It might make it a little mushy, but a few hours before, no problem at all. So now what I do is take some toothpicks, or if you've had it refrigerated, take it out, bring it out of the plastic wrap, and this is what it looks like. Actually, if you can refrigerate it for a little while too, it makes it, really, really hold together well. So, okay, might get one more out of this. Let's try it. Again, we'll cut off this. And you know what? You can cut them at an angle. See, right in between the toothpicks. In between the toothpicks. All right, now just take up the piece and just push the toothpick through the bottom, just slightly, just so it holds the whole thing together. I like to put these on a nice white plate so it really shows off the green and the red inside. Of course, these are nice for Christmas, right, with the green and red. And see, I just arranged them on the plate like that. Just like this. Aren't these beautiful? And again, with your different color lavash, you can do some of these with the tomato lavash. Give a nice contrast. There we go. There we go. Again, arrange them on a plate. My friend Nancy was over here a few weeks ago and she was having a jewelry party. And she said, I'm going to order, a cheese platter, and I forgot something else from the store. And the party was at night, so it was after 7, after people had already eaten dinner. And I said, Nancy, let me show you how to make a very simple appetizer. It's nice and light. It'll be perfect for your party. So I took about 10 minutes, showed her how to make these. She made them at her party. People loved them. Nice and tasty, too. And the cheese that I'm using today is the garlic herb. So it's going to be very flavorful. Okay. How's that? Well, that one, let's fix that. Okay, now we're looking good. And you notice I cut them, you can cut them a little bit on an angle, so it gives it just a little bit different look than what we've done when I worked for a caterer. Look at that. Just take some. That's why I like these baby greens. Again, with just the arugula, you don't get this nice color contrast. Just stick that in the middle and serve that. I think your guests will be impressed. Now the next appetizer I want to show you using the lavash bread is one that I actually got the idea for while talking to my friend Lisa at the YMCA. And we were talking about, what would kids like? So we thought, why don't we do a appetizer with the lavash bread, and let's see what peanut butter and fluff would come out like. So let's do one with the peanut butter and fluff. Again, I'd use the nice soft white lavash bread for this one. Okay. Let me just clean my spreader over here. All right. I guess start the base with the peanut butter. Let's again do the peanut butter on half of this. Well, as you can see, you'd probably be better off with the smooth. This is the chunky, and well, all right. Just like that. Now I'm going to put my fluff on top of this. All right. Let's see. Again, not too thick. Oh, this would be a fun one for the kids, huh? A little bit messy, but that's okay. Oh boy. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now again, let's start from this end. Roll it up just lightly. The nice thing about this one, this is going to stick just fine. You're not going to have any problem with this. Okay. Get my cutting board. And you know what? Let me use my toothpicks with the different colors, since this is for the kids. Okay. Be nice for a birthday event. There we go. And again, you know how to finish it off, so I'm going to stop right there. Let me put this one here. There we go. Oh boy, look at this. Huh. All right, and there's your Fluffer Nutter Lavash appetizer. Well, the next appetizer I'd like to show you is a super simple one, and you may have even done this one in the past, but I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on it. But before I begin, let me put on my apron, since I'm going to be doing, you know, a few other appetizers, and I need to keep clean here. So, and what do you think of this? Does this have a nostalgic look to it or what? Remind you of your favorite grandmother or aunt? This is my favorite apron, so here we go. Now I'm all set to go. All right, I've got here the little Polskas. Now you may have done these before with cocktail franks, but this particular company actually comes out with more varieties around the holidays. So I think, you know, these are the little Polska sausages. So it's a Polish sausage. It's a lightly smoked beef and pork cocktail sausage. And around Christmas, I think they also come out with what's called Little Smokies. And, you know, you might want to look for some different varieties. So I'm going to use Little Polskas today with this one. Take one package of these. And by the way, you find these in the prepackaged meat section. So with all the prepackaged deli meats and the bacon and so forth, that's where you'll find these little cocktail franks and sausages. Okay? Now, I'm going to add, this is a 9-ounce jar of cocktail sauce. This is 18 ounces of grape jelly. You usually do, you know, the combination with equal amounts. So I'm going to add half a jar of the grape jelly, since I have a 9-ounce jar of cocktail sauce. And you know, you may have seen these done before with what's called the red currant jelly, and actually my next door neighbor does them with the red currant jelly. I never have. I learned how to make them with the grape jelly, but I'm certainly going to look for that next time, because I guess the red currants are of the gooseberry family, and it just sounds really good to add that as a different twist to this. So, but I'm going to show you the way I learned how to make it with the grape jelly. And then cocktail sauce. Now, some recipes will have you add chili sauce. And the only difference here is with the cocktail sauce, it's got horseradish in it, which is really going to make it even spicier. And of course, I love horseradish. If you don't, then use the regular cocktail sauce. Okay, so we're going to add an entire jar of that. And by the way, this particular brand, the Old Cape Cod, I think is the spiciest. So if you like things that are spicy and sweet, this is the one. If you like milder, then use a different type of cocktail sauce. But see, I'm just going to mix it in. And as it heats up, of course, you'll see what it looks like later. Okay? So, it doesn't look too attractive right now, but I promise you it will later. I'm going to put this on the stove top. Please simmer slowly for a good half hour until the sauce thickens. Now, You can also do those in the crock pot, and you can leave those on for a few hours. And with, where you always want to leave the top on the crock pot, if you find that after 2 or 3 hours the sauce hasn't thickened enough, just remove the cover and put it on high and let some of the moisture evaporate, and your sauce will thicken. So that will be perfect for those. So, okay, I'm going to put this stuff away. All right, now I want to show you a simple yet sophisticated appetizer that I call brie crostini. And crostini means little toasts in Italian. And again, first I want to explain the cheese brie. Brie is considered one of the greatest cheeses in the world. And let me unwrap it and I'll show you. It has a nice white rind on it, which is edible, and it has a creamy, buttery interior. And even though this is made domestically, the best is considered French. And this is a French brie that I picked up. So it's excellent for making sauces. I've seen it put in soups to make a creamier consistency, but I'm going to show you this on the crostini today. So there's my brie, and I've got a couple of different types of nuts that I'm going to use. I've got toasted almonds and pistachios I thought would be nice for the color. And let me get my baguette. Okay, and again, a baguette is nothing more than a long cylindrical loaf of bread. And actually, this size is ideal. And now you can get, sometimes they're a little bit bigger, but you really don't want any bigger than that. But this to me is a perfect size for crostini. So I'll put that there. And my brie. And we need a little bit of melted butter. And a little brush. Okay, and I'm going to get my pan. And again, as I told you in the last program, I've got my parchment paper on there, and parchment paper is grease-proof, so it's awesome. You put them on the pan, bake them. You don't need to wash the pan after. So I've got that ready to go. Put that over here. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I slice it. Again, you use a serrated knife for this. And you want to cut the baguette about 1/4 of an inch thick. So first we want to toast them. And I guess I'll do 8. 3, 5, 6. Okay. So you see how nice and thin these are, because we want to toast these in the oven. Now, just a little bit of butter on my brush. That's all you need. That's it. Do both sides. That's it. Just a little dab. Put them on the parchment. Again, see what I'm doing here? See how quick? And I'll tell you, the butter, it really makes a nice flavor on these. Can you use a cooking spray? The butter-flavored Pam? Whatever? Sure, you can use that. Just spray it each side, but there's nothing to me that compares to the buttery flavor when you use real butter. Okay. Again, just really light, just hit it. And you know, I was making these the other night, and it was before dinner. And I thought, well, I don't want to make too many because I don't want to be eating a lot of them before dinner. So I called my next door neighbor, Sue, and I said, Sue, well, I left her a message. She wasn't home. And I said, I have some appetizers. Would you like to try some? Well, when I didn't get a phone call back within 10 minutes, you know what happened? I ate all of them. And of course, I wasn't hungry after that, but these are so good. Now that's it. That's all you do. I'm going to put these in the oven at 375 degrees, set my timer for 10 minutes. This is one of those things that you definitely want to use a timer. You don't want them to get too, to get a burned look to them, okay? So I'm going to pop these in the oven, have my oven ready. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. There we go. In the meantime, I'm going to give my cocktail sausages a little stir. Again, on low. Keep it simmering. You can simmer these probably up to an hour. It will get thicker, of course, as you simmer. So it depends what consistency you like your sauce. All right, now I have this cooking on the stovetop. I have my crostini in the oven. In the meantime, I'm going to show you another very simple appetizer with cucumbers, Old Bay seasoning, and crab meat. So what I'm going to do is, let me get my cucumber. And by the way, if you haven't used these, this is an English cucumber. And as you can see, it's probably, I don't know, I think these grow up to 2 feet. And what's nice about these is they have very little seeds in them. It's not like the other type of cucumber. So that's why they're used for a lot of bases for canopies, which is what I'm going to show you. And they just slice really nice, and the skin is very thin, and that's why you'll find these wrapped in the supermarket, okay, to protect the skin. All right, let me get the Miracle Whip and crab meat, and I'm going to show you these cucumber crab meat canopies. Crab meat, Miracle Whip. Can you use mayonnaise? Of course. I just like Miracle Whip. It's a little bit sweeter, that's all. So, here we go. I'm going to put crab meat in the bowl. Get this out of my way. A little bit of Miracle Whip. Just enough to hold it together. And a little bit of Old Bay seasoning. And if you've never used Old Bay seasoning, it's used a lot for any type of seafood dishes. And I know people put this in seafood boiling water to flavor it more if they're making boiled lobster or crabs. And it's just lots of good seasoning that really complements seafood. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. And again, sprinkle whatever you like in there. I don't want to add too much, so that's about it for this small can of crab meat. Now I'm going to mix that up. All right. There we go. I'm going to put that aside while I show you how to cut the cucumber. And again, I just think it looks nicer on an angle, so I'm going to do these diagonally. Now, also what I want to show you, you can use, we can make the edges a little fancy. Now I know the old school method is just with the fork and take the tines of the fork and run it down the cucumber. But I'm going to show you what I do with what's called a channel knife. And this particular one has a little bit of a zester on the end, which I don't use that. I'm just going to use the channel portion right here. And I'll show you what we can do. Make the cucumber look a little bit nicer. All right, first I'm going to cut it at an angle like that and get rid of the end. Okay, and then I'm going to take the channel knife, just again lightly on the skin like that. Bring it down. I'll do maybe 5. Again. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And all this will do, it'll give the edge, a nice look to it. All right, now, got my cucumber like this. And I'm going to say, again, about 1/4 of an inch I think will make a nice base. And again, I'm curling my fingers under so I don't cut them. And again, just like this. Okay. There we go. Move my fingers back. All right, that'll be enough to show you. Put my cucumber over there. I'm going to put a glove on. And let me get my plate. I'll be right back. Another one of my decorative platters, and I just thought it would be nice with the green and yellow edge. Kind of pick up the green from the skin of the cucumber. Okay. Now, I'm going to lay these out like this. I'm a right-handed person, so I'm just going to put a little dollop of crab meat on these. And by the way, I learned how to make these when we did a house party when I was at my internship at the Johnson & Wales Inn. And I thought, wow, this is really neat, and these are so easy. And these were actually served as past hors d'oeuvres. And of course, you know, that's fine there. That's what we did with these. This is how we served them. But you have any ideas to put a little snip maybe of, I don't know, a black olive might look nice, the thinly sliced black olives. And I'm sure you can come up with a lot of different ideas. But again, you just need a little bit. See what I'm doing right here? The Old Bay seasoning just complements it. You don't want to over-season anything, really, but especially seafood. Just has a nice, delicate flavor. All right. Do a couple more, and then I'm going to plate these. All right. Let me move this off. Take off this glove. All right. There we go. And see how nice the edge looks? And that just gives it a little something. It took me, what, a minute to do that? Okay. See, now this platter you can just leave on the table, or be nice to pass these. Nice past hors d'oeuvre. And there we have it. Cucumber crab meat canapes. All right, my crostini is out of the oven. So let me put this down. And I'll show you what it looks like, or what it should look like. See, 375, 10 minutes. That's perfect. Just a little lightly toasted. All right, we're going to put those there, and I'm going to grab my brie. And let's see if this cuts. What I want to do is, where this is a wedge, again, I'm probably going to cut about 1/8 of an inch. See how creamy that is? How it's already put. So I think I'm going to be better off using a serrated knife to cut through that rind. Yep. There we go. Okay. All right. See how nice and creamy that is? Oh. Don't worry about this too much because it's going to melt. But you probably want it well chilled when you do this at home. Okay. So we'll cut it into 8 pieces. And again, I want to remind you that the rind is edible. So 3, 4, 5, 6, You know what? We'll just take one little sliver off the side. Is this knife going to be any better? Yeah, maybe. Again, don't worry about this because it will just, it's going to melt very nicely. Now, see, also the other side got nice and toasted too. So by hitting it both sides with the butter and putting it on the pan like that at 375, it's going to get both sides. And that's what you want. You want something nice and crisp. All right, I'm going to just put the brie on top of each one, like that. Okay. Let me grab a paper towel, clean off my fingers. All right, now that I've placed the brie on the crostini, I'm going to put the nuts on top. And again, here I have pistachios, and I toasted some almond slivers. And I'm going to just plop a few right on top. So we'll do 4 with the pistachios, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And the toasted almonds. These really look good when they come out nice and elegant. And you know, I was thinking some other combinations. Pine nuts would look beautiful on top of these. Chopped toasted pecans, because it will give that nice dark brown outer edge with the yellow inside, give it a nice contrast. But that's what I try and think about, is contrast when I'm doing these. Okay? I'm going to pop these back in the oven, 375, for 3 minutes. That's it. All right. It goes in for 3 minutes. Oh, my timer's going off. My crostini must be done. The melted brie. So let me pull these out of the oven. Oh boy. Oh, look at this. See how nice and melted that became? And notice the contrast. The other thing I love about the brie is, see the white rind? That adds more contrast to this particular appetizer also. But I think these are just so nice. So what I'm going to do is put them here. And, you know, these would be nice to pass also, a nice sophisticated passed hors d'oeuvre. So what I'm going to do here is I'm using one of my Lennox china plates. And I'm going to put the crostini on this plate. And then I'm going to show you how I finish these off, which really gives it a nice finish. All right, here's my crostini. Now I'm going to take a little bit of honey and drizzle it over the top. Isn't that nice? The person that gave me this recipe said that the honey just adds a little bit of sweetness to this and just makes it a little bit different. And these are delicious. And what I like about these also, you just get the sweet, salty, buttery, and crunchy. Different flavors and textures. That's what really makes these awesome. And they look beautiful. I mean, look at that. Mmm. Mmm. Delicious. All right, I'm going to give my cocktail sausages another stir. Just a few more minutes on these, and they should be done. I've got my oven still at 375, and I'm going to show you another quick, easy snack now with Triscuits and cheddar cheese. And this one's great for the kids, for the health conscious. You can use low-fat cheddar if you want. They also came up with, I guess, reduced-fat Triscuits now, so that's good. Now again, I'm going to take my pan, use another piece of parchment, and I just want to point out, remember the crostini that we did on this pan? Look at how nice and clean. See how that parchment is? Don't even have to wash it. So I'm going to put down another sheet of parchment. Okay, wait till you see how nice these look. Again, I'll do eight of the Triscuits. Oven again, 375 degrees. Just lay out 8 of them. Okay. I'm going to put a little square of cheddar on each one. And again, for more contrast, if you want to use the orange cheddar, super. And this I cut from a block, so that's how I got those nice squares, or more like rectangles on some of them. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to pop these in the oven for 5 minutes till the cheese melts. Okay, so let's put that in. I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes, and I'm going to give these another stir. Oh, let me show you this right now, because this is really thickening up nice. And just about done, and probably 45 minutes now that these have been cooking. See how nice those look? All right, let me put these back on the stove. Couple more minutes on those and I'm going to shut those off, but I just wanted you to see how nice and thick that sauce gets. And of course some of the flavor is going into the meat product. Be nice. Now while those are baking, I'll show you what I'm going to do with the apple. This is a Cortland, I believe, but you can use Red Delicious also. But with this particular appetizer, use a small apple. You know, I'll show you with, just cut off, you know, a section of it like that. Then I'm going to cut, again, keeping my fingers curled under, nice little thin wedges. See how nice and thin those are? Okay, and again, nice thin wedges. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these when our Triscuits are out of the oven. Yep, timer's going off, so I'm going to grab my oven mitts. Oops, sorry about that. Take my Triscuits out of the oven. See how nice and melted the cheese is on top of the Triscuits? I'm going to leave those right here while I shut off the timer and give my cocktail sausages one more stir, and I'm going to shut them off. They look great right now. It looks perfect. So, let's see. And there we go. And of course, we're going to let those cool down a little bit anyway. Those are hot. So yeah, to get to that consistency, I'm going to say it was 45 minutes. So if you're doing them stovetop, slow simmer, 45 minutes. Crock pot, I'd say at least 3 hours. All right, now, there are my Triscuits with the cheese. And I'm going to take a nice little apple sliver, and I'm going to place it right across the top like this. Now if that's too big, look, to contain it within the apple, use one of the smaller ones. Or the other thing you can do, you can cut each one of these slivers in half. Again, another little different look. Put it right in the middle. Or if you want to make a smaller sliver, just again, cut it off closer to the curved edge. And again, put it right on the diagonal of the cracker. I think looks nice. Oh, here's another small one. We'll do that. And, yeah, I might cut one more in half just to, give you an idea of the different looks. And let me plate those. I'll give you a good look of that. All right. Now, how easy was that? 5 minutes. Okay. There we go. Yep. And you know what? Let's just use the rest of these apple wedges around the plate. And I'm sure you can think of some nice decorative ideas also in addition to that. But there you go. Is that a quick, easy appetizer or what? Now, if any of what I've shown you is still too complicated, and when all else fails, hang on a minute, let's see what else I have in my cabinets. Oh my goodness, look at this. Yes, the cheese in the can, they still have it around. However, with me, if you're going to use this, you're going to make this a little bit more sophisticated. And why don't you get the Cracker Quartet? And I have to say, the only one I've seen is made by Pepperidge Farm, and what I like about this is that you have 4 different types of crackers. You have the hearty wheat, golden butter, classic water, and toasted sesame. And this is a great way to buy crackers when you need a combination of them anyway. So, let me show you that. And, of course, please use a fancy platter if you're going to do this one. All right, I already opened up my crackers earlier. So we'll just do 3 of each. That's the ones that look at the nice shapes. This one is, they give you different shapes also. Butterfly for the buttery ones. Then we have the water crackers. And we have the hearty wheat. All right. And I guess the nice thing about this cheese in the can, you don't have to refrigerate it. And we already have a tip on it that will make nice rosettes. So let's see if I can do this. All right. Oh boy. Oh, we're looking good. Okay. Let's hold it down. Oh, how am I doing? Huh? Let's get a better look here. Look at this. Yeah. There's my sesame wheat. Get a little bit of health conscious in there. There's my hearty wheat. Alrighty. And we're going to arrange these on my plate. Here we go. And there you go. You're good to go now. That being my final appetizer, I thank you so much for joining me this week in my kitchen, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.